CNG, what's up? First man in. You too, buddy. Have a good one. Plywood. Good morning. Oh. Check. Check. Checkity check. Check. I can't hear you. The fan's on. I just touched it. Check, check, check. I'll just take it out if it doesn't work. Sorry, folks. Microphone issue. Kevin Ellis, welcome. You know, I could use a clean rag. Apparently this one has a lot of schmutz on it. That's what I went in there for. One of the things I went in there for, I forgot. Carrie, welcome. Misunderstood. This is not bad. We'll go through it just a couple times. A couple passes. Barry's here. CNG popped in. Roll call. Roll call. CNG, Plywood, Daniel, Kevin. Some folks have work to do. Gotta go to work, so I understand that. But we're here. When you're at your desk and the boss isn't looking, pop a song. It'll increase your productivity. Tell them at the next accountant meeting, watching live streams improves your productivity. Down to the bottom of the chat, CNG Plywood, Daniel, Kevin, and Carrie, good morning. And Heather, my right hand, good morning to Heather. Matthew, welcome. Mike, welcome. Begins all here, but not quite. We're almost there. Polish that. And that. I'll need like a medium-sized chisel and one like this. I'll probably here. These are two of my favorites. Multi-purpose. How's everybody's morning? So happy to be here in the workshop doing my thing. I'm excited to work on these, the bed stringer and the rungs. I'm not excited about that rail. I don't love the rail. I haven't said much about it because of that. Just need some strop. Oop-a-doop-a-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Y'all know how my dressing stone broke? I like it because one of them gets gunked up like this, and I can move to another one that's not gunked up. So I always have a clean dressing stone. They don't work as well if they're not clean. Sound in the background is the fan. It's hotter today. So, gotta have a little breeze in here, gotta have a little airflow. Strop. Yep. This side's flat. We'll turn the fan off for a minute so y'all can hear these lovely sharpening sounds. Hopefully it's just my screen that's frozen and not everybody else's. Oh, it's got schmutz on it. So I'll turn the fan off and these bugs get after me too. Make myself undesirable using deep. Back over there. What the heck do I care? Carrie, how you doing this morning? How's everybody? So thankful to be here at Dad's workshop this morning. If y'all haven't had a chance yet, check out that remix video. I basically did a shoot Heidi and Bill yesterday. You don't have to lead the live stream, but made a video about Heidi and Bill when I spun them on the wheel yesterday. And, I thought it was cute, you know. Gotta get a laugh out of stuff. It said on Bill's shirt itself, you gotta laugh at yourself. I agree. And sometimes you gotta laugh at other people too. You gotta laugh at other people's expense, right, Mike? My phone's freezing up big time, dude. I'm gonna have to exit and come back down. Let me check. Ooh, doo 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 doo. Oh, so you guys are way beyond me in the chat. My chat was way behind. Okay. All right, so yesterday I wrote down that the angle of the rung should be 15 degrees and I got to come up with a rung spacing. So I was thinking like 10 inches. We'll do that. But let me first put these on the sharp. Let me get these polished, these chisels, because I need my chisels sharp for this job. I am going to be putting little 10-inch through just to you know, because we overbuild here at Dad's workshop. We overbuild stuff. That's how we roll. We also actually roll. All right, since it doesn't matter, I'm gonna put that fan back on. Thought maybe it was the fan, but it wasn't. So, all right, we're at 3,000 grit here. Thanks. Carrie said leave it on. I say that's true. Leave it on. All right, let's go back. Someone said, yeah, we haven't discussed morning or evening, but whatever's best for everybody, I'm sure I could work it out. I love y'all. I appreciate that, man. Oh, I just caught my thumb with that thing. Billy, welcome. Billy Shoemate, it's been a minute. Sorry, y'all. My chat is freezing. I'm gonna try a different method here. Let me get my coffee too. I need my coffee. And we're down the possum. Somebody kill a deer? Oh, that's right. It's deer season. All the country boys are in the woods. A lot of socks left on the floor. A lot of underwear on the floor. A lot of chores being left undone. You gotta just sit out there, Billy. Just sit out there. Sit up in your stand. Heather, if you get a minute, could you run me a towel out here? Just a hand towel. Jackal said, always interesting to see how other people sharpen their tools. No problem, man. This is very, very fine grit here. I'm really polishing more than sharpening today. These are pretty sharp, but I want to make sure they're really sharp. Yeah, that's good, man. Yeah, it's a little warm and humid today. Really, I agree. Y'all see all that strop in there? A lot of strop, right? Boring Guy DIY, welcome. We're going to get into the fun stuff here in a sec. Boring guy DIY always got something funny to say. He said, I need this, my chisels are butter knives. I actually cut myself down to the bone with a butter knife one time. Right here under my middle finger knuckle. Kind of a strange story. I'm sure Mike is like, I ain't sending my chisels nowhere. If Wes is in the chat, he's like, I'm not sending my chisels to Calvin. Literally different strokes for different folks, right? That's most of what I needed done there. Let's take this little one. Cedar Grow Box, welcome. Hey man, boring guy DIY, just like hold the phone, put the phone under a book. Put it under a book. Set it against your laptop screen. You know, just whatever slickness you need to do to get away with watching this live stream at work. Don't leave, don't go, don't stay here, stay here, stay. Hey, boring guy, stay here. Hey, you. Hey, no, don't go. I'm just kidding. I do think he's a funny dude. See, as soon as he goes, I'll lose viewers because he's funny, man. That dude's funny. Try to dress it for the next time, man. Put it back in the water again. I was about to drink out of this nasty cup of rainwater. Thanks. Y'all just see my butt? Good. Onto the ladder. Said Carrie, that is correct. Onto the ladder. Psyched. Bird's mouth. You see the bird's mouth was a little tricky for me yesterday. My brain wasn't cooperating. What we want to do is line these up. I got to clear my whole workbench though. Me too. I'm excited too. This ladder's gonna be awesome. We're gonna make sure of it. I did some vacuuming yesterday to get some of this stuff off the bench so I wouldn't have lumpiness. Making sure that these are exactly lined up and I'm clamping them together, because I want to basically make these layout marks on both of them. However, I think they need to be flipped the other way around. So let's make some layout marks on the whole timber, then I'll straighten them out again. That one is close, but we want to make them new. Oh, there's my eraser. Okay. Alrighty. I am going to clamp them together for a second while I do these layout marks. So, how far apart should ladder rungs be? Raja, welcome. See if I missed anything in the chat. Okay. I think ladder rungs should be between 10 and 12 inches apart. And this is the top, so we don't need it right up at the top. We're going to put one gonna put one if that's sitting like that. We should set this first one, I think, 5 inches from the bed stringer, so they have a little gap for their feet, and then the other ones will be 10 inches below that. This gun doesn't need any rungs. Now this is going to have to be transposed because this is the inside. Actually, these are both the inside, so those are the right places for it. All right, as we know or don't know, the width of a 2x4 is 1.5 inches. So oh, hold on, Ben. I know this. I know this problem. I already caused myself another problem. These need to be at an angle. The same angle they are at the bottom. So 15 degrees. My protractor. But I do need to make that line first, so that was stupid. Keep the line here. Put the line back on. And then I'm going to draw from that line. I'm going to do 15 degrees. And that wasn't great there. Slightly off on that one side. I want these things as absolutely precise because there's not much what you call tolerance. Now, a speed square, you would turn it. I was having trouble with this yesterday, but you turn it till your angle matches. This is not a good one either, but there's 15 degrees right there, and it's lined up with the side. So we can even go back and just darken our line a little bit. So it's close. It's gonna be, when you do any of these things by hand, I definitely will use these for 1.5 inches there. Any point 1.5 inches off that line. 15 degrees. I was a little shy of that line. It's tricky. Why does my brain not work like this? If it's hard for you, it's good for you, right? I'm thinking a quarter of an inch in depth is fine. Start with this side. Ooh, a bit of dust in my eye. I'm gonna mark down. On my last ladder, I ended up with a big step at the bottom, and I don't want that to happen again. So let me see where these steps would be. That would be the next one. And that'd be the next one. That'd be the next one. Well, there's one close to the bottom, but that's fine. That's what I want. Pelado. Pelado said I have a meeting starting in a few minutes, so I can't stay long. I mean, offensive. That's fine, Pelado. Like I said, man, just like in the meeting, tell them you have to go to the bathroom. Sit in the stall. You don't even have to be dropping the deuce. Sit in the stall and just watch the live stream from there. You know, what are they supposed to tell you? Pelado, don't use the bathroom? Like, don't drop a deuce? And then you just say, I don't know, and because I know you're not a liar, so you got to tell the truth. So you have to say, I don't know. I may or may not be experiencing inflammatory bowel disease. You know, that's not a lie because you may or may not be experiencing it. And then when they say, oh, sorry to hear that, you say, yeah, I'll find out soon. And you will find out because you'll go to the doctor and say, do I have inflammatory bowel disease? Doctor say no, and then you won't be telling a lie. So case in point is stay on the live stream. Don't do anything but that. and we'll be good. I may or may not have made the administration wait 30 minutes to meet with me when we were the only people in the building. I was done with them, and they knew it. Gosh bless it. It's important that this line be at 1.5 inches, and if you don't, oh, that's a bad line. If you don't line it up with the hash mark on the ruler, you might not be parallel, or you might not be perpendicular, and so it might not be 1.5 inches. So make sure you've got that exactly lined up. Yeah, there we go. There's actually a way to do this with the speed square too, and people who are good at it, they'll just flip the speed square out and get this angle really quick. And then look right there. Yeah, it is. We're getting towards the end here. Maybe some little fine tuning we have to do. Gosh, I gotta anchor it the right side here. It looks too much. Yeah, it's not right. I'm gonna do it this way, because I just don't like that. I'm gonna do 1.5 inches off the layout face here. That's probably what you should do. And try to wing it. Oh, Pilatus said, sadly, I kind of need to pay attention in the meeting. Yeah. It's the life of a man who runs numbers. You can't not pay attention to the numbers for a minute. That is sad. It's very sad. Very sad, Pilato. It's a sad day. That's 10.5. Bottom of that, so the bottom of that. That one came out well. Inch and a half from that corner. Thanks to John yesterday for all of his help figuring out these angles, especially on that bird's mouth. If you mess that up, you got to start over. Oh, there he is. That is crazy, dude. I didn't even see his name in there. Wait, hey, John. So I was shouting you out right when you popped in the room. Didn't even look at my screen. You helped me get these angles right, man. Appreciate that. That's so weird. John's invested now. Probably the most efficient way to do this with a protractor is to do both the angles. And you live and you learn this stuff. You do it, learn things by mistakes. It's the best thing to do now. Best thing to do now is while I got this, I had two protractors. I have no idea what my other one is. I'm gonna measure that 1.5 inches. It's tricky with this clamp on here. I'm gonna have to move the clamp down. Hey, did I miss something? I was just saying thank you to John when he popped in the chat. Isn't that crazy?
He's like, hey, see you doing the same thing.
Yeah. Well, kind of. It's the next step. You know how that works, John. A lot of the same thing. Those are looking good for now. I hope I got these in the right place. I just figured out a trick, which someone probably will say is obvious, but so once you got one side laid out, you can actually do it, the bottom one, with a ruler, I think, if you don't want to reset your protractor and stuff. You can also use a speed square. I'm sure John could probably educate us if he wanted to type that much on how you would run a speed square on here. And I've seen guys do it. They just slide right up the board. It's really easily done for them. A lot of practice probably. And then we have that one. So the other ones you'll notice were a little quicker. All right. I know it's early, everybody. Take a sip of your coffee. Cheers. Cheers. We might do this the old school way, since that's how we roll around here. Oh, that's a Walmart speed square.
These are the degrees, so that's 15. These
Right.
are 15.
I did that a couple of times on here.
I looked it up,
Yeah.
so that's how they want you to do it.
There's a lot of tricks with that thing too that can make it even more.
But like, so that's 15.
Right. So, yeah.
That lines up.
That's the pivot point.
Yep, so this touches, you line it up.
Some of the more expensive squares that are made out of metal will have like a pinhole for the pivot, and you stick down a pin in there. Yeah. I like the big metal ones. Try to, if I have money, my money's going to go into the tools that can't be substituted for cheap tools, right? Like I can't substitute a cheap chisel for an expensive chisel, but I can substitute a cheap punnet, what do they call it, a punnet square. I can substitute a cheap speed square for a at least temporarily. So as I said, these are going to be recessed into this stringer 1/4 of an inch. Make sure I'm at the bottom of the chat because my phone looked different. Yeah, with the speed square, you definitely simplify some angles and stuff. I agree. Well, it simplifies a lot of the layout process. I remember I used to have some skills with the speed square that I lost, having not done it for a while. Oh, crap. Jeez. Welcome back, Mike. Mike wished the best to Mrs. Pilato and Mr. Pilato, and I do too. We all do. Mrs. Pilato is recovering from a kidney transplant. Check out any of their stuff. Also, I made a showcase video about Pilato. This is just a little token of my appreciation and just to showcase them a bit. All right. Now, all of those are 360-degree layouts now, I think. We got a 1/4 inch that they're going to be recessed. They're 15 degrees. I wrote all this down so I wouldn't forget it. Now we do the other one. Hey, do me a favor, folks. Double tap that screen and like this video. Yesterday, we got a new sustaining member, which I appreciate. I don't know who it is. They never tell me. So if you all think I'm not appreciative of your sustaining memberships, I'm so appreciative of that. That's what I'm like aiming for. So if you are a sustaining or renewing member, let me know in the chat. Hey, I'm a sustaining member, because I like to know. I have 8 of those folks, and that's my most important folks. So got a new one of those yesterday. Want to definitely suggest that if you're here a lot, you become a member. We're going to start doing members only live streams again. I wanted to try them out a little bit. Members only chat was a success. Business square. All right, so they said that hyping is something that fans can do for a video. I don't think it costs any money, but if you like a video or something that someone makes, that you can like hype it, and they're like giving the creators like extra views or extra exposure for that. So yeah, that's what that is. Don't know a whole lot about it other than that. Last one on this one. Yeah, hype the video. Like if you like the video, hype it. If they ask you for money, then never mind. I don't think it's you have to pay though. It's just like something you can do as an extra perk for somebody you like. YouTube probably likes that. I always try to do the new things YouTube talks about too, because they'll push your content more if you use the new things like they've cut highlights for me in the last couple of days. I probably should be using those because they might hype those. They might promote those more. I shouldn't say hype because that's their word for that thing. All right, so there's a couple ways we can go about this. We can route these out with a router, which will be delicate, and I have to be real careful. And each one I'll have to reset up my sled and make sure that I route through them carefully. Well, I could just do these by hand, and I don't think it'd be that difficult of a process. I just go with my Forstner bit and then chisel out the waste with a framing chisel. That's definitely more YouTube friendly. So let's look at this like this. If we have these like this, they should all, wow. Yeah, that's correct. And they look like they're at about the right, they look like they're about at the right, I don't know. They look good. They look fun. Other thing is to make lateral saw cuts through them and chisel through them that way. We can try both. We try to use hand tools in here as much as possible. Oh, my towel is stuck in there, man. Yeah, it's only on videos. Only on videos, as far as I know. And definitely a router plane can be another tool that you can use for this, if that's what you choose to do. If you have a real sharp one. What I'm going to do is this. My chat's frozen. Sorry for the shakeage. A little wiggly in there, but we'll take care of that. We could also dowel these in pretty easily, so if I don't want to do these tenons, we could probably just dowel them in. Someone said nothing is mandatory but death and taxes. I always hated that expression. But I'll accept it. Anyways, nice to meet you. Hey, I'm the accountant. Hey, my name's Quadratic Formula. Nice to meet you. Reach his hand out. P-Dubs out. See you later, dude. Plywood, valued member. Appreciate you being here. Sorry I missed you if you left without me saying that. Valued member, Plywood. Bust this up a little bit. I don't want to break this edge off here. I'm afraid it'll blow out. But this knot around here is causing this stuff to be wonky, man. There we go. It's really close in. New beginnings, welcome. It's doing that thing where it's zoomed in and it doesn't show me on the camera. Like I'm seeing two. I'll see. I'm just trying to get y'all adjusted right so you can see if YouTube's messing with my Zoom is like getting altered by their system somehow. Plus today more than ever it's been really difficult to stay with the chat. It's been freezing. Seems to be something on YouTube's end. What does GLHF mean? New beginnings. Me and Heather were trying to figure out what those are yesterday. Shout out. Somebody explain to me what those are. It's a new YouTube thing. Maybe Heather can shed light on that. It's a gift, so thank you so much, Matthew. No, it's New Beginnings. Never mind. Thank you, New Beginnings, longtime friend of the program, for that gift. We appreciate you. I'll do a drum roll here in a second. Even if it's non-monetary and it's just a hype gift, I want to do a drum roll to show you my appreciation. Here we go. Yeah, man, having fun. I agree. It's you have the floor. We are having fun here. I don't think I would want to be anywhere else. I haven't had a chance to show my appreciation today, so let me just take a moment to affirm my gratitude for everybody, for being here, for being able to chisel through this wood today, for breathing, for being here, for having you all here to support me. I don't care what the number at the top of the screen is. I know who my folks are. You know, the gallery is going to come and go, but your friends and the folks that support you, you want to keep those people. So I'm not worried about that number. I mean, I think about it sometimes, and what I'm concerned about is maintaining these relationships with these folks. Make sure y'all know that I appreciate you. We're here to grow too and learn. You know, there's always things to learn. I definitely am a lifelong learner. I would agree with that statement. Some people say that sometimes. Most people with ADHD, Wes was telling me this the other day, most people with ADHD find something, they get good at it, or they get bored with it and they stop it. So, you know, you have things that challenge you for life are tempting to people with ADHD. Thanks, New Beginnings. Now let me get my drumsticks, my dowels, and do a little dowel roll. See that? Here we go, here we go. New Beginnings Wood Shop, New Beginnings Woodworks. New Beginnings Woodworks, longtime friend of the program out there in West Virginia. A little less there. Thank you, New Beginnings. Shout out to our friend New Beginnings Woodworks. And we are having fun here too. New Beginnings as a member, want to take this time to call everyone to action here. If you are watching a video, make sure that you share it, you know, share my content, share your favorite creators' content. Also, that hype thing Carrie was talking about, try out the hype button and hype a video if you like it, not just mine, but somebody you like. And then make sure that you are liking and subscribing, and it's most important to share, because that's how our message gets out to other people, and we don't go anywhere without that sharing. So also, if you have the means and you're here a lot, become a member, become a sustaining member. I know there's a lot of gift memberships given out. Shout out to Wes Does It for supplying a bunch of those gift memberships, but I want to keep you. So you let me know, man. I'll put my email up on my YouTube channel. What can I do to keep you as a member? You want to shout out? You want to talk? What do we do to keep you as a member? That's what I need. I need to keep my family around here. I don't want to lose you. What do we do to keep you? And we want to do all of those things. So even though my chat is frozen right now, it is fully frozen. It's me standing there with my chisel. So I have no idea who said what. It's one of those days where I have two different service providers on my phone. So sometimes one phone's real good, the other one's not. These are not taking very long. Kind of surprised these didn't take longer. Oh well, I don't want to give myself the kiss of death. Knock on wood. Could be something that gets in the way and they become more difficult. Pilato said, turn on the heater. Why? Why turn on the heater, Pilato? It's warm here. I look back and forth to make sure that my saw is coming down evenly, because on a long piece like this, if you put these cuts in and you don't make sure the saw blade is even, when you chisel out the waste, it's going to be more difficult to get it flush. So if you're doing this with hand tools. Pilato said his team is playing ECU this weekend, and I never told him the story about when I went to that stadium. So I went to an ECU Virginia Tech game. I didn't live in the area at the time, so I actually had to drive 2 hours to get down here to that. And my friend was driving a Prius. What was a Prius? Is that the electronic one or the hybrid one? It was like 08 or 09. So Prius was a pretty new car. He worked for Siemens. He was an engineer. It was his company car. We were headed down here, and this guy, he's kind of helpless. Even though he's an engineer, we blew out a tire, and he's like freaking out. He's like, "No, we'll never get to the game." I was like, "BS, man. Pull this, roll this thing over, and let's put the donut on there, He's like, "This is my company car. They're going to know, blah, blah, blah." So we had to find a shop in Greenville to put a new tire on it. Meanwhile, we're like, well, almost dropped my chisel. We are almost like, it's like an hour into the game when we get there. ECU does not have seats. They have benches, and they have the numbers on the bench. And the person that was sitting in my number, my friend, he came over. It was a girl sitting kind of over his seat. She moved right away. Now, he's a big man. He was over 6 feet tall. And, a strong guy. He's passed away since, my friend. Rest in peace. He died of ALS, but he was starting to feel the symptoms then. So we're at the game, and he sits down. He doesn't help me at all, this dude. I look over, there's a man that's like 6'6", 300 pounds in my seat. So if I'm going to sit down, I'm going to have to ask this gigantic gentleman who doesn't look very nice to move out of my seat. And so I was like, bruh, this is what my ticket says on it. I don't care. All these people are sitting in the row. I'm going to need everybody to scoot down because this is my seat. So move your big tails over. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, it's my seat. They need to put some. Don't ever fly out to ECU for a BYU ECU game. Them tickets, you would be so disappointed to show up and you got your butt, you're right up, you don't have your own seat. It's like a high school game. So I just want to let you know that. But I had to I also was wearing a, because I was the same in 2009. I was wearing a floral shirt and a fedora hat. I was like, I'm probably the only person in this whole stadium with a floral shirt and a fedora hat on. Then I go up the concourse, up the stairs. Here's this other guy with a floral shirt and a fedora on. I was like, okay, maybe I'm wrong about everything. Maybe my whole life philosophy is wrong. Rest in peace, Brian. My screen is so frozen. Yeah, New Beginning said I have ADHD. I get bored with things, but I seldom get bored with things. But sometimes something hits my mind, no matter what time or day. I got to go do it. I'm with you, man. Sometimes we just, with ADHD mind, you get this. Sometimes I'll be laying in bed ready to fall asleep, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, this or that, or the garage door's open, or did I do this, or whatever, But yeah, I'm with you, man. That's why I have to live a creative lifestyle. I can't live a regimented, Apollonian, structured, rigid existence. You all see I have repetition. Repetition's not a problem for me. I like that. I like routine. But it has to be balanced off with variation, and fun. It just totally crashed. How's everybody doing? Yes, this allows Calvin to tag me, so I can read the chat behind here, but I can't read it from over there. Other way to do this would probably take a circular saw and set the depth and the angle. Well, actually, no, you couldn't do it with the angle. You would have to set the angle would have to be 90 degrees. Set the depth and just cut into, if you have one of those circular saws like a skill saw, or pull your guard back, but just be careful. Oh, of course, I didn't expect that. Pilato said, unlikely to make it to the game this week. Pretty sure the doctors won't clear my wife to go. Not that she would want to. And I'm supposed to stay with her as her caregiver this week. Yes, I definitely taught New Beginning said you can do it with a router. Definitely. The last time I did these, and I made a video about it, I used my router and my router sled. Let me show y'all. This is my router sled, so this would just be on top. My router fits perfectly in here. I would just run it would be set up like this, and you just run your router through the sled. So yeah, this is my router sled. It's in tough condition. It needs to be repaired a little bit. But this is her right here. It has foldable legs. Sometimes when I leveled my tree stump out, it's good for slab leveling too. That's like, I got to rebuild this. I can feel there's some broken joints in here. It's been roughed up a bit. All right, quick water break, folks. I'm gonna drink the rest of this coffee. Swig it. Chug, 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 chug. Thank y'all. We got 46 likes. If you are in here and you want to double tap that like button, I won't hate you for it. I wouldn't blame you. It is popping up in here. One second for a water break. We're back. You don't see it? Do it the other way. New Beginning said, I'm at 294 subscribers. When I hit 350, I'm doing a giveaway where 5 different subscribers are going to win a pen turned on the lathe out of their choice of wood and engrave it with whatever they want. I'm in on that, bro. You know I want to get pens from you anyways, Dad's Workshop pens that I can give out to folks. So, yeah, man, I'm there, and we can help you get to that 350 really easily, bro. We can get you there real easily. So, you got my... are you on my Facebook, NBW? If you're not, let's talk about that today. DM me on Facebook. Let's talk and strategize. We'll see how we can get you up to 350 in the next couple of days. Oh, I missed that line so bad right there. It's that knot. All right, I'm going to use the rip cut side because I don't think I'm going to get a straight line unless I do. See, because that takes more material out, so then I got a line set. So I've learned with the Ryoga saws, if you're on a knot and you're cross cutting, switch to the rip cut side. It's a hack, man, because I've never heard anyone say that. But I've used this saw so many times, y'all. I learned little tricks. I love these. I would never use any other kind of saw. I mean, hand saw. See, again, it's still wonky right here too. I probably need a new one. You know the one I got at, Harbor Freight was like worse than this when I got it. And I've had this for like 6 or 7 years. So that's why you will hear me not saying that many good things about Harbor Freight. That saw was, I needed it to work for me, and it didn't. Now when you need something to work for you and it doesn't, how that works out. Yeah. Pilato said my other sled is similar, but I used angle irons for the legs instead of wood. Makes sense. So again, that grain is wonky right next to the knot there. It's going to give me a problem on the chisel too. So you look at my saw. Y'all disbelieve me when I talk about these knots. Look at the saw. It's biting the saw right now. So the wood it's cut and it's closed back in. It misbehaves. That's the only way to describe knotty wood. It misbehaves. So I'm making a couple extra cuts in here. That might have been a little deep. Pilato said I have a relatively recent, I think I saw that video. I have a relatively recent video showcasing using the router sled to reflatten a slab on a bench I made for my fire pit. Now I got these big cherry slabs over in the corner. I'm going to have to use that sled to do those. You got to flatten them out first, otherwise you won't be able to work with them. Or it'll be exceedingly difficult to work with. That right here. An idea. So one of these needle type chisels, we're gonna puncture this area a couple times. If you paid attention to anything and you're trying to learn on here, this is where you need to pay attention. This is how I'm dealing with this. The knot's right here. It's not in there, but it's affecting the wood there. So I'm going to pulverize this knot by hitting it down through the grain with the chisel. This is where a router would work better on knotty wood. It'll pulverize, it doesn't matter. And now it comes up easier, right? Doesn't take other wood with it. Part of the problem is when you work knotty wood, it wants to take more wood than what you want. You get a hold of the grain finally with your tool, and it takes more with it. Look at that wobble. That's me. I think it's because of all the wood chips on my floor, sitting on wood chips. That's a new wobble. That could be the way to work. Nah, it's not walking back. I wobble. No. Nah, for some reason it doesn't behave like that. Otherwise, I don't think woodworkers would like it that much.
Yeah, but my question is not, isn't that essentially just like a knot on a knot on a knot, or is it more so there's growth? Like, what's the difference between a knot and a growth?
That's an excellent question. A knot is the growth around a tree ring, so it's reaction wood. It's a growth around a branch. So it's like a broken bone, except for it's a new bone, right, on a tree. Yes, scar tissue or a healed up bone. So it's too hard. The grain is really fine. It's usually resinous, and so there's no consistency. The reason we can work wood is because of the predictability of grain. As soon as you hit something out of line with that, it's different. But for some reason, burled wood is usually a little softer because it's an infection. So I think that may have something to do with it. Right. That's an excellent question, babe. And I would have to really put my tools into some burled wood and tell you for sure now. But
Yeah.
I have a burled table. I would love to, like, it's been at least 10 years since I made it. So I don't even remember the tooling of it that well.
Yeah. This is the run and the burl you showed on the live over there.
Yeah.
You picked it up and it was like two flat part. You know, Seetin, they turn it on the two burl side.
Yeah.
And this is the flat part.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's big, gorgeous. I think one of the most pretty things in the world is finished burled wood. Yeah, so New Beginnings said it could be harder to work with because of that, and that would be a result of the funky grain. See, look what I did, dude. Look at that, see? Blowout, just after I said that, dude. I haven't had blowout on not one of these things yet. Let me show y'all. And I'm not ashamed to tell you. That's what happened. After I made a stop cut and sawed through it. See what it did? Have none of that on any of these other ones. Look, even this one, it's far enough from the knot. It's alright, that's going to be on the inside. So I'm not that worried about it. But that's what I was talking about exactly. And the wood kind of away from it will be really easy to work, so you'll get caught off guard by it too. Like you'll be just and then you hit this part and you're like, what is going on, man? I hate it. But it's alright. It's our first little imperfection really on this piece. Mike, welcome back. Yeah, and I think in that dry weather also, you guys end up with a lot of checking in. What's that terrible thing that happens to logwood that makes it useless? The pores open up grain-wise. You can't carve it anymore. You can't really use it as lumber. You know, it's the worst. It's the reason you see boards and logs have paint on the end grain to slow down the evaporation, because wood wants to check like that all the time, and if it dries too fast, you want your wood to dry slow, ideally. If it dries too fast in log form, and it's not like in boards being pressed down with stickers and weight, then that will happen all the time, or you'll get these useless, beautiful pieces of lumber that have been treated poorly. Even my cherry slabs over here have some evidence of it. Like, they slabbed it and they didn't put stickers under it, they just leaned it against the wall. My left. Oh, sorry. Could y'all hear me? Ah, that's what it was. Okay, sorry, y'all. They still twist and check, but you seal the ends to try to slow that down. Yeah, because the wood is losing moisture through the side grain, right? But if it has bark on it, if you harvested it in the winter, it'll keep the bark. So it's going to be real slow through the bark. If you can, it's going to try to lose its water through the end, and then it pops these little elliptical shaped cracks that go all the way through the grain, and I forget what they call those checks, but they're the worst kind. And so you seal the end grain so that it can't lose as much water through that end grain, and it slows the drying process down. Then the best thing to do is take your wood, slab it immediately, mill it, and stick it down with stickers. And then you'll know which wood is good and which wood is not. Some of it's gonna cup, some of it's gonna warp, some of it's gonna twist. Some might have bad checks in it, but you'll end up with some level of quality boards that you can work with, and you won't lose the whole log. You know, if you store a log that you harvested the wrong way, and I've done this with walnut before, man. I didn't mill it. I kept it as a log, and it checked in a way that it was useless. Probably in the next months or years, we're definitely in the next months, actually. I'm gonna put the rip cutting blade on my chainsaw. I'm gonna cut I have two chainsaws. I'll put the rip cutting blade on one and the cross cutting on the other. We'll cut this pine tree down in my front yard, and I'll mill it into boards on the channel. We'll probably start with bad views, and then people will probably tune in. I may just cut a hole in the ground to mill it, man. I don't know if I'm gonna make a whole lumber mill. I'll probably freehand it with a hole in the ground in a chalk line. And I've done that before and ended up with good boards. Back in the day, guys used to do that all the time, just pit saws, you know. You see them at the antique stores hanging on the wall, the 2-man handle saws. That's how they used to do it, man. And one guy be in the pit, one guy be above the pit. Yeah, if you can get a good deal on them. Otherwise, I'm like, you know, it's firewood, dude, you know. Because New Beginning says he buys warped and checked boards and stuff and tries to make small projects out of them. Yes, so I've done that before. I've taken an entire log and just basically I hewed off the top, and then I hand planed it down flat, and then I ran it through a surface planer. So yeah, I've done that before, actually. One done. Now I think these still need the tenons, so what I should probably do next is measure 29 millimeters from each side. Then the ladder is going to be this width, though. So it's going to be this width, right? Minus another ½ inch. That's 1/4 inch on each side. Should be fine for kids. A little bit skinny. Let me see how this looks on the bed. Yeah, that's looking good. That's going to be good. But before that, we should do all of this fabrication process first. This is gonna smell so good. I think this is spruce right here. My YouTube is just wonky, dude. I hope I didn't just block somebody with sawdust. Eco Woodcrafts, welcome. We're being ecological today and not using that many power tools. Whoa. That's a lot of days in Dad's workshop. We don't use a whole lot of power tools here in Dad's workshop. We try to, and that means try to. It doesn't mean always. People want to do always stuff all the time. I always. People are funny. Stubborn also. I'm gonna be honest, this section feels weird. Maybe like this all the way down the board. That other one was nice and easy to work. This may not be the same. I want to say hi to all my members that are hanging out and kind of doing their daily things while I'm in the background. Shout out to all those folks, Mike and Carrie, New Beginnings, who else was in here today? Plywood, Pilato. Shout out to all my members and members of the fam here. Appreciate you. When I say Mike, I mean Mike is making stuff. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful. My hands are becoming sensitive to differences in texture of the wood. So when a part is raised, I can kind of feel it under the chisel. It's like a sixth sense that I think I've started to pick up by chiseling so much, man. I'm always chiseling. It's very satisfying. I gotta be honest. If I don't have arthritis, I'd probably do it forever. It's very not satisfying with not sharp chisels though. So make sure your chisels are nice and sharp. Ooh, look what I did. That was just a misstep. Again, on the inside, so not a big deal. I try to be as clean as possible, but I did get a little blowout right there. Yes, sir. Eco Woodcraft said, do you use a whetstone to sharpen your chisels or a power grinder? Well, I mean, a power grinder is if I need to re-edge them, right? I don't even actually have a power grinder here. I have to take it to my dad's for the bench grinder. I use my belt sander sometimes to get the edge back because it has a crude, sandpaper on it. So the answer is I do use whetstones. The beginning of this live stream is me with the whetstones Eco. I don't know if you've been in here when I've sharpened. I usually do it in the morning before I start doing everything. I watched this video from Appalachian Homestead, I think they're called. They were like, how often, it was a poll, how often do you sharpen your chisels? Every day? Every project? And I was like, not really, not that much. But then I started to realize that if you sharpen them daily, or whichever ones you're going to use, or polish them, meaning the very fine sharpening, just to keep the edges nice, then you will always be doing, the work will be easier. You'll save yourself a lot of headaches. So yes, whetstone is my preferred method. I used to use sandpaper, fine grained sandpaper, like drywall sandpaper, which still works. It's just kind of in a pinch type situation. If you have a whetstone, you're going to get a lot better edge. A grinder's only going to give you the edge. You're going to have to polish it or sharpen it somehow. As far as I know. I mean, somebody else knows something I don't know? Does a grinder add does the bevel get sharp on a grinder? Oh, look at that edge is not really, all right, so, but it looks like it's just this edge, so I want to be careful. I don't want to blow it out here. That's what it wants to do, man. Oh, look at that, dude. Oh, man. All right, second blowout issue today. I was a little impatient with that. Matthew said, I have a Tormek knockoff and it's so easy to sharpen chisels, plane blades, and gouges, etc. Gouge is a carving tool, I believe. Not much of a carver, but I have heard the term. They're just like chisels, except for their stick shape. I saw a company on Instagram, I actually follow them. All they make is gouges. That's their whole company is straight up gouges. I told them they were gouging. $100, that's gouging. That is a little off that line. That's my rip cut side, and I purposely did that because this board is different than that last one, man. If you make ample stop cuts and it still blows out, it's probably because there's a knot, you know, or something you can't see. There's a lot of little knots on this wood, so this is probably that kind of wood that this is going to be difficult all the way through. And Chardonnay here. Hey, Chardonnay. Carrie's back. Welcome, Carrie. Heather, go ahead and make it members only chat now. Oh, Eco is still in the house. Let Eco stay around. Subscriber only chat if it's not already. I don't want Eco to get booted. Okay, thank you. Same here. It's going to be about 80 to 80 here also. Thank you, Carrie. Standing up for me. Eco's out. All right, members only chat. It's about 12:30. That's usually when we do members only anyway. Members only lunch. Maybe the best, most even one I did so far, just by hand. Thank you, Carrie. Carrie said, this is coming along nicely. Appreciate you, Carrie. Oh, that's all right. That's right down to the line. I need these to kind of be loosey-goosey in here. They got to slide in easily. And they're also going to have tenons on them, but we'll do that as a separate process. If they don't move around, the tenons won't go in properly for me right now. Thank you, Mike. Mike said, looks good, buddy. Appreciate you, Mike. We are on subscribe. We are on members only chat now. I want to say thank you to all y'all, especially my sustaining members. Appreciate you. And then we're going to stick around and y'all get the floor for a minute. That line's slightly off right here. That should be right there. That should be the line. It's hard to do from this angle. But my cut line is aligned with the 90 degree mark that I made. Oh, God bless it. It's just not going to look good, but that's it. Go back to the rip cut saw for a second. We were yesterday on my live. We worked on that guardrail. Carrie said, "Sorry to miss your live yesterday. What did we do? We worked on the guardrail. Not super happy with it. It works, but like, after I looked at it later, you know how that is." Matthew, gotta run. See y'all later. Appreciate you being here, Matthew. Yeah, we worked on that, and then I moved later in the afternoon. I did an afternoon stream where I did, and you may have been in that one or not. We did the beginning of this, where I took the stringers and I cut the bird's mouth, which was really tricky for me. My brain was on other stuff, so I was really missing the focus I needed. So John helped me with that, and Mike modded and Wes modded, and Heather was busy, so Heather got in there, and everything was fine. But I really struggled with the relative angle based on the angle horizon, or where the angle is measured from. So I was like, man, I'm really in my brain. You know, when you like forget how to spell a simple word, that's what it was with my brain yesterday. This wood is really acting wonky, so I'm putting a couple more extra cuts in there. I don't know where the knot is. There's kind of an imperfection in the wood that runs from here to here. Okay, just the morning live. Yeah, we did in the morning we did that rail. I don't even want to show it to you. I have to set the other recess in the stringer, and then if it doesn't look good, then I'm gonna scrap it, and I might even I don't know. I don't want to say that. I'm not gonna buy anything, but I will. I definitely would have to come up with a new idea. Most bunk beds, the rail is like kind of built into the bed, right? But I didn't want to do that, because really, after you're a certain age, you don't really need the rail anymore. I've got kids that don't move around much in their sleep. Definitely they get a little scared, because they're like, what happens if I roll? But most of them wouldn't move that much. These are actually wide set beds too. They can encompass the mattress with extra space width-wise. Mr. is here. Welcome, mister. It was nice to have 300 people pop in the gallery there for a minute a couple days ago. That was exciting. But what I'd rather have is my folks, you know, chatting and hanging out. And that was also during a members only chat, I think. So, you know, that's like I said earlier, that's cool and all. I like having the looking at the number and seeing a bunch of people in there. But y'all, I'm not worried. Maybe YouTube is more worried about that than I am. Because what I want is tight knit. You know, I want us to. I'm not worried about their numbers because apparently they don't care about that either. So you could get 100,000 views and make a couple pennies off your live stream. So I'd rather have real members, real fans than YouTube throwing me 300 people in the room that are just passing through. You know, for whatever reason. I'm sure we'll get back to that again, but I knew that was an outlier. That wasn't gonna happen for a long time, and I'm okay with that. Also got to keep it real and talk on my live stream. I can't just sit there and be quiet all the time. I got to talk to my people. So yeah, I could be quiet and ignore the chat and the ASMR gallery would move through. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And then as soon as I talk, it drops from 300 to, you know, whatever. So they're not there for me or my personality. They're there for me to work like you know, like a robot so that they can relax. And, you know, is that the kind of fans? You got to think about what kind of fans and people you want. This job has to be done. So I'm going to stream the job until the job is done. Not all day, but yeah. Or my phone or whatever is done. One of them will die. Oh, I like ASMR. I watch stuff for that, but I think that it's a factor of like they want me to be how they want me to be, you know, and that's not why I'm here, right? I'm here to do my thing, and if you're chasing views, I find myself doing it, man, you know, because you want the numbers to be high, and then you realize, oh no, I want to cultivate the right audience here. Let's get this back where it needs to be on the actual work. Just curious, you got a hand powered drill? I've always freaking wanted one of those. Hand powered drill. No, I do not. You mean a... No, this dude, Mr. Chickadee, made his own though on his channel. Highly recommend him. He only does classes now, so doesn't make any more videos anymore. I don't think he does like a timber framing class and a crafting class. There's a guy that anybody else on here knows. Mr. Chickadee will vouch for it. Made all of his own tools with metalwork and leatherwork and all of this stuff. It's amazing. Built the whole house in the woods with hand tools, hand saws. He rip cut every board with a hand saw. I mean, just unbelievable labor intensive work. And his drill was always that hand powered drill. They're easy to find at they used to be easy to find at antique stores. I bet they're harder to find now. You got to make sure your bits are super sharp, because you're not moving with any kind of speed, so you can't just brute force it. Your bit actually has to be razor sharp. I don't know if you've ever seen that. That's another factor that people struggle with. They got to sharpen the bit. I know Dick. I'm very aware of Dick Prenicky, right? Watched all of his movies. He was freaking awesome. Yeah, I am well aware of Dick Prenicky. He moved. He was a working man. He went out to the They got me for saying that name. Do you see the views go down? That's the man's name, YouTube. His name is Richard. Yeah, he lived in Solace for the rest of his life out there, man. Died out there. I mean, a normal, like, old man's death. It's really a happy story. He built that thing on two hands, man. He's like the original, like now it's really kind of trendy to go out and homestead, but back then it wasn't. Everybody wanted to work in an office and have a house, a cookie cutter house. So Dick Prenicky, or Richard Prenicky, should I say? Yeah, he was not old his whole time though. He started out as a young man there, fairly young man, or, let me say probably 40s or 50s, because I think he had retired from his day job. I watched the documentary about him. Interesting guy. He used chainsaws and stuff like that though. Not that that was easy. He's by himself, but... Oh, what was that? Oh, I lost my light. That's telling me it's time to... Got one more of these to cut, y'all. And then we have our stringers done for the ladder. YouTube needs to readjust their algorithm because some words sound like curse words and aren't. And then they hit your views and all you're doing is chatting with your people. That's so stupid. Yep, they do have it as a historical site in Alaska, his cabin. It's probably more of a populated area now. When he moved out there, it was the 60s or the 70s, and so there was nobody out there. He was really all alone. The problem that most people couldn't handle about that is that they would not be able to handle the solace. They need to be around other people at least a little bit. Even people who think they don't like other people don't want to admit that they get lonely, right? But Mr. Prenicky, he really lived it, man. He didn't want to be around other people, and he did it. And he was a nice guy too, which is kind of interesting. Sociable and stuff. He really just loved the wilderness, and it brought peace to his heart. You know, what can you do? Sorry, 85 people who they kicked off of my... Yeah, they took my viewers away because I said that dude's name. See how they do it? See how they do you on here, man? Messing up your money, messing up your live stream just because you were chatting with your people. That does make it bad. Now it'll probably take me 2 weeks to get back to the viewership because they misunderstood what I was talking about. It's crazy, dude. The way they punish you on here doesn't even make sense. That whole angle is off. He said, I love that he got to know the local wildlife each season and year. This way he knows which members he should hunt or spare, right? I remember that. Really important discipline because he has to make sure he leaves folks. Wow, what are they doing to me? Is my phone dying? Yeah, it's a dude named Richard Prenicky, and he moved to the Alaskan wilderness from, you know, like a desk job type life. And he's like the first person to do that. I made a documentary about it. All right, let's cut this out and let me get off of here so that I can figure out what's going on with YouTube. I think I saw it on like public television. That was how I saw the doc on him. Nowadays, if somebody did that, they'd be like, that's no big deal. I watch Alone on TV. But when he did it, he basically documented with film, because I think he used like an 8mm camera to do a lot of his documentation. He documented with film the wildlife and what he was experiencing and all of that. I get just so y'all can see it. Sorry, folks. Love y'all. I got disconnected. Want to say thank you so much for coming, Carrie, Mr. All my members. Let me show y'all the stringers real well. Let me flip this around real quick.